Are you coming down here to Cuba this winter? Leave a comment below if you are. I do have some good facts that you should know before you get here and what you should be bringing along with you so your trip is super awesome and you have a great time. So number one, star counts here in Cuba. I booked in at a 4-star resort. I believe it's probably closer to a 3. So whatever the star rating is, make sure you drop it a little bit. And then you'll get probably a more realistic expectation of what you're going to be getting when you're here. Number two important fact that you need to know is imports in this country have stopped due to Corona, so they are mainly on local alcohols in all these resorts and local foods. So if you're coming here for 5-star dining, you're probably not going to get that. You can watch my video, I'll post it here at the end of my vacation, and I did include some photos of the food so you can get a good idea of what they have here. It is pretty repetitive in the hotel that I'm at. They have mainly one large dining room open for everybody, and the food palette is pretty much the same night after night. So it might get a little bit tedious on you. Point number 3, if you're coming down here for excursions, make sure you call ahead or ask the hotel or travel agency if that excursion, the specific one you wanted to go on, is even available. Now, the excursions I did go on are included in that other video as I discussed, and they are super cheap, like half price. So, you know, if you wanted to go out somewhere, like on a catamaran trip like I did, it was like $35 Canadian. So very cheap. I think the normal price was around 70. But there are a very limited number of excursions for you to even go on. So you got to keep that in mind. And if you're coming to this specific island that I'm on, Coco, you're not going to be able to get off of it. It is in its own little bubble. And even the staff are stuck here on this island, which makes it super safe for Canadians to come down here and even Americans, because there are less cases here than back home. So the level of threat here is pretty much next to nil. Definitely worth it for that scenario. Point number 4, if you're coming to this island specifically, make sure you bring some bug spray. There are little gnats. There's a salt marsh on the other side of this beach that produce these little gnats, or fleas, I guess you could say, and they will bite and bite and bite. So make sure you pack your, pack that. And then another thing, of course, sunscreen. Now you can buy things here, and you will need pesos, which moves me on to point number 5 that you should know. You don't need to bring American dollars here. Canadian is fine when you're here. There are banks kind of on site of these big resorts that can change your money into pesos if you need it. So if you go into the pharmacy to pick up bug spray because you forgot it, you can go to the bank here and pull out pesos to pay. So another thing, point number 6, you will mandatorily have to wear a mask for 24 hours. They will test you at the airport. So everyone you're traveling with will have to go through that. It is a lengthy process that can take up to 2 hours or longer, depending on the size of the plane you fly in on, to get through everybody. At the hotel the next day, they will give you your results, and then you can take off your mask, of course, if you don't have it. Point number 7, if you end up having Corona here, probably not the best thing to go through. They will self-quarantine you in your hotel room and, of course, bring you breakfast to the door, I guess you can say. And you will stay there, of course, until you test negative, which could be a lengthy stay, depending on your scenario. Now, if it does progress, there are hospitals that are presumably pretty good, from what the locals say, that can treat you, and hopefully you will be just fine. So my final point on this video, point number 8, is that the staff that you have when you first arrive in the hotel are going to stay with you probably the entire duration of it, because they're kind of stuck in this bubble, like I was saying, and stuck here. So you will see the same bartender that's giving you your drink first thing in the afternoon or morning, and they will be there till the wee hours of the morning, till every single person stops drinking in the hotel. So tip-wise, the average bartender here is only going to be making around $40 American a month. So keep that in mind. It's kind of like Florida, where waitresses and waiters depend on tips. So make sure you do bring a few extra dollars, or when you're here, go to that bank that's on your resort and pull out some pesos because they have dollar bills. They do not really like coins because they're hard for them to exchange into their own currency at the bank. So make sure you're not tipping loonies and toonies. 5 is kind of the smallest bill we have, so you can go and change it for ones if you're just going to be tipping. Now, like I said, they will be with you the whole time, so if you want, just at the end of your vacation, the last day, give them the gratitude then. That is a pretty normal thing, I guess, here in this particular resort. So if you want more information, especially on how to fly here and the COVID restrictions, there are videos posted here. If you want to see my trip in detail and all the cool excursions and about the hotel, you can click up here as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below if you know of an awesome resort here in Cuba that should be checked out by others. Leave it below in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button. It definitely promotes the video, and then other people will know this knowledge for when they come to this beautiful country. It is absolutely stunning. Water is amazing, and it's super warm. Hope you enjoyed it.